Me am Bizarro, Andy. Me host show now. Wait, me no want to host show. Me want to cause problems. Hello friends, welcome back to the show. So glad to see you once again. I'm Andy Knode. Sorry about that. I don't know how he got in here. But if you're new here, welcome to the show. This is the place that you've been looking for where we talk about each and every episode of Superman, the animated series. I assume you found this and clicked on it because you're a fan of Superman, the animated series, or perhaps cartoons from the 90s in general, or the DC universe. Well, this is the right place. We're talking about each and every episode, and today we've got a great episode for you talking about Identity Crisis, which originally aired on September 15th, 1997.
Girl at lab call me Bizarro. But that not right. Me am Superman.
Yes, Bizarro has always been a fun character in the DC universe and certainly up against Superman. And I think that the animated series has depicted him quite well. And they capture a lot of the different essences in this, both in the story and the animation. But we'll talk all about that right after I give you a 60-second rundown of the episode synopsis before the Brainiac bomb explodes. Let's see if I can do it. Superman is out doing some good deeds and saving children and giving them good advice. And then Superman swoops in and saves Clark Kent. That's right, you heard me correct. Saves Clark Kent. This obviously sends Clark in some confusion of what's going on. And then Superman asks Lois on a date. And then Clark says, well, I think I'm going to walk home and figure this out. He goes up to investigate what's going on. And he meets up with the other Superman who also claims he's Superman and doesn't understand. And one of them is the imposter. And then slowly the other Superman turns into Bizarro Superman, and now he's confused and he flies back to where he was created, and which is by Lex Luthor, and he is asking him a lot of questions, and Luthor says, boy, we've got some problems, we got to fix this. And he goes, I don't understand, why do I have memories, why this other guy's claimed to be Superman? So he flies off and he's trying to prove himself and he's trying to do good deeds, but he's doing them all very poorly. And then he goes into his date with Lois Lane, and Lois Lane and him go back to where he was created, and they see all these clones of Shucks. And so Superman now flies in because he hears the recorder that Lois left at the restaurant of where Bizarro Superman came from. So they go there. Lex is trying to blow up everything and destroy all the evidence and destroy the Bizarro Superman. But instead, the Bizarro Superman helps Superman out in saving Lois because he still has memories of being Superman and liking Lois and all that. And Superman and Lois get away. Boy, it's rough.
I know you're a busy guy, but I am dying to get your autograph.
The opening of this episode is kind of fun because you could tell that something was off from the very beginning, and that it starts out with Superman saving these kids. Not that Superman wouldn't do that, a very minor issue that Superman is directing his attention towards. And I just love the little piece of advice that he gives, which was very reminiscent of like the PSAs that they used to have at the end of the G.I. Joe episodes.
I know it's tough to turn down a dare, but sometimes being brave means using your head and not doing something dangerous just because other kids pressure you.
You're right, Superman.
As I was watching this, I forgot that this was the episode that introduced Bizarro. So to see Superman save Clark Kent, I was experiencing that like the first time and went, whoa, this is bizarre. This is Bizarro. But it was fun. It was neat to see that moment, and it was neat to see, to have that head-scratching moment of how is Superman saving Clark and which one's the real one.
Take a wrong step, Mr. Kent? What?
And I thought that it was also nice, a happy accident, and Lois Lane witnessed all this, and they certainly don't call this out, but I would think that this would further the deception that Clark Kent and Superman are different people, that Clark can go, yeah, see, I'm not Superman, he just saved my life.
Yeah, right. Have you ever known me to play it safe?
And so the first part of this episode is a great little mystery before we finally introduce Bizarro, and we get to see him as he's changing into the Bizarro character from looking just like Superman to kind of this off-put Superman.
Leave me alone.
One thing about his design in this is that most of the other Superman iterations that I've seen, Bizarro has the backwards S on his chest, and that wasn't there. Although the S was like mangled and different, it wasn't backwards, which I thought was different. But his suit was different enough, and it was a different shade of the blue and red, and his cape was shorter and tattered, and the wide neck and things like that helped. But I really liked how physically different he was. And again, that kind of clean-cut, sharper angled animation works really well for a character like Bizarro.
He looked like me. I no understand.
And I know this is such a small detail, but there was moments where the animation of Bizarro, and I don't know if this was a deliberate effort, but it certainly was reading really well, is that when you would see Bizarro standing, not carrying on lines or standing in the background or looking around, especially when they show up at his place with Lois Lane, just the way his eyes are animated, it's like you can really tell there is nothing going on in his mind as he's looking, which I think is a great skill of the animation to be able to carry that through in artwork and to make his eyes look alive and like he is active in the scene. Just the sloping or the droopiness of him is like it just appeared that he had no thought in his head.
This is some kind of cloning operation. Someone's making duplicates of Superman.
And I also enjoy the persona that they create with Bizarro as he goes out, obviously not too smart, and he's trying to prove himself and going throughout the city and trying to do good and just failing miserably by trying to save the building that they're demolishing and in the process destroying the crane and trying to save the bridge that's being broken apart by the ship. So those elements were just really well crafted to illustrate the difference of Bizarro and Superman.
What the heck is he doing?
And just in general, his confusion around who he is and doesn't understand why he has memories of being Superman and who this other person is and how he's dealing with that. And he's a really interesting character in that sense, that he is conflicted about who he is and his brain is not developed enough to understand what's going on or why he thinks the way he does, and is just operating on pure instincts of knows that he likes Lois and knows that he should be doing good, but doesn't know how to connect the dots and make all this make sense. And further confusing how Superman is there if he's Superman.
No! You am no Superman. Me am Superman.
And just how honest he is about his feelings and sharing those elements of his character that I don't understand. I'm confused by what's going on around me.
Me have memory. Me know I'm Superman. But other Superman make me confused.
And although he is a formidable threat against Superman, having all of the same powers and being able to match punch for punch with Superman, he doesn't want to fight Superman. He doesn't want to just go up against him and doesn't want to just blindly follow Lex. And so it creates these great battles. And again, in Superman fashion, always seeing the good in people, that he's able to walk out of this situation and feel bad for him or have feelings, hoping that he survived the explosion.
I hope he did. He turned out to have a good heart.
Well, naturally. He came from good stock.
So when it comes time to rank this episode, there's not a lot to it, but it is pretty simple plot of introducing Bizarro. And he's just a fun character. And again, I've said this multiple times throughout this series, is that it's episodes like this that really fit the Superman premise. I don't think that in Batman, the animated series, that some of the comedic, lighthearted stories work as well. And maybe that's kind of my issue with some of the Joker episodes. But characters like Bizarro, who is kind of comical, but at the same time soft-hearted and a tragic sort of villain, fit well in the Superman universe. So it's refreshing to see those type of storylines come up in this. The episode ends up serving the purpose of establishing this character for the Superman universe. So for those reasons, it ends up at the number 6 spot of my favorite episodes so far. It falls just below Speed Demons because Speed Demons is also kind of a basic general story, but the partnership between Superman and the Flash is up against a very formidable threat with the Weather Wizard. It works really well in that episode, and I think just kind of pushes that episode above this one. But it does beat out Fun and Games because I think Bizarro is a better match against Superman over Toy Master, or Toy Man, the toy guy. Even though I like his backstory, I like how they establish him, Bizarro is just kind of a better character.
Okay, then. Bye-bye.
So now that we have met up with Bizarro, who is a quintessential character in the Superman universe, what is your favorite Bizarro storyline, either from the comics or all the way back to the Super Friends or we haven't seen him in the movies yet. I don't even think we've seen any live action stories. Correct me if I'm wrong, but let me know what your favorite story involving Bizarro is. Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this episode, please click the like button. If you want to see more episodes like this, just hit subscribe because we have new episodes coming out every Tuesday and Thursday. And we have another episode coming up this Thursday called Target. So you don't want to miss that. As always, I'm Andy Knode. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.